All right, everybody. Good evening. Oh, hold on. I need to get my footstool. Be back. And I'm back. All right. So, all right. Let's set up sheet music. Oh, not that yet. Setting up. I think it was this. Right? So I'm just setting up the link for my iPad. There it is. And we should have iPad. Good. All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thanks for coming and hanging out. Oh, hey Frank, how's it going? Thanks for stopping by. So the idea of this live stream. Some of you may have seen that I did a Twitch live stream earlier. Um, Earlier this. Oh, I don't know why that's happening. That's weird. Get that out of the way. Let's go put that up there. Oh, there we go. I got out of the way. Hopefully it gets out of the way there too. I'm watching on screen. Let me know if that the oh yeah, it goes so that like play button and everything from Windows got away. Good. So I've been doing regular streaming, and I'm sort of testing out all of my equipment. And there's a website called Twitch.tv where I do my main streaming. That is a website which is devoted to live streams. And what I'm doing on the YouTube channel is that I am um, doing a video series. Sort of last summer, I did a progress series of me learning Roland Dion's Saudade #3, and I figured that I would continue with that idea. I decided to. There are 12 months in a year. There are 12 Villa Lobos Etudes, so I'll learn all 12. I'll do one a month, um, and sort of just document that process. And so what'll wind up happening is that I will be doing 2 live streams a month on my YouTube channel. I'll do one on the first Saturday of the month and one on the last Saturday of the month. The first Saturday of the month is going to be pretty much a uh, sight reading, sort of deciding on fingering sort of thing. Whereas the final live stream will be a performance of the study. And during both of those 2 live streams, I will take questions, answers, all that kind of stuff as well. So feel free to ask questions. During the um, initial live stream, the first live stream of the month, feel free to ask questions on how I'm working on something, or what I'm going to be doing. So for the most part, um, during these kinds of live streams, the live streams at the first of the month, it's gonna be a lot of sight reading, so they ain't gonna be pretty. Um, but it's gonna be a lot of fingering choices and things like that. I'll give sort of my initial thoughts of trouble areas as I'm going through. Hey Jay, how's it going? Or I should say Jason. um, and so the idea now is that I'm going to, as I'm going through, I've got my computer over here. As you can see, I can see the live chat. Feel free to ask questions, pick my brain about what I'm doing as I'm going through it. It's meant to be very interactive. Um, and then the second live stream, which is at the end of the month, is going to be, performance, and then like another discussion, question answer little thing. Um, as the month progresses, I'll do progress update videos, which will be out on Saturdays. and that'll sort of go through what I'm working on over the course of the week with the piece. I'll probably have video snippets of practice over the course of the week, things that I'm working on, and things of that nature, just to sort of chronicle and to sort of take you into the life of me working up a piece of music. Um, if you watch my live streams on Twitch, you'll see me practice this piece. But these etudes. But if you're not watching me on Twitch, those are going to be pretty early in the morning, 6 in the morning to 12:30 in the early afternoon. But if you're not up watching those, I know people have day jobs, especially all my friends on the East Coast. You'll get a sense of a little update of what I'm doing with those video progress, or those progress videos rather. So depending on the month, there will always be 2 live streams, but there will be either 2 to 3 videos just sort of documenting the process of going over these etudes. Hey Eric, how's it going? Long time no see, man. um, so my setup is pretty simple, but I thought the really cool thing, and I'm not going to take credit for this either. My friend Matt Linder, who's part of a trio called the Mobius Trio, he does lots of live streams, and he has on his live streams the sheet music up, so that way people can take a look at what's going on. And it's pretty cool. I'm using my iPad, and so what you're seeing is what I have on my iPad. And I can zoom in to things, so when I'm doing fingerings and stuff like that, I'll zoom in. I have a stylus, because I do not own one of the new fancy iPads. This iPad is probably like 5 years old. But I can do things like write on it and stuff like that, erase stuff, decide on fingerings, move on over, and then do the same in different sections. So the cool thing about it is that you're going to see all of the edits that I make. Oh, it's not working the way that I want it to. Let's see if I can fix that. Holly's iPad. That should be working. So let's see. Did that get it? I'm trying to fix it. Let's see. Bear with me, guys. Oh, there it is. Okay. So I fixed it. All right, good. So you can see it expand and everything, and you'll see in real time me make edits and fingerings, fingering changes and everything. So if you have questions about the fingering choices that I have, obviously feel free to talk about it. This is a discussion. The idea is to sort of take down the curtain of practice. We typically practice by ourselves, alone, places. I practice in my office, which is a complete mess right now. But the idea is for it to be a little bit more interactive, mainly keep me company while I practice, sort of thing. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. So we're going to be I'll be working on the first Villa Lobos Etude, and just a little bit of background, I guess a little bit of clarification. I've been playing classical guitar for a while now, and I've done, probably at least 6 of these etudes to a varying degree in my studies. I've worked on Etude 1 before, so I already am approaching this piece with some kind of knowledge. My goal for this, though, is a little bit different in that because I'm not really working on performing these, I'm going to really focus on the right hand fingering in this etude that's given. And so if we zoom into that first measure, we'll see that we have P, I, P, I, P, M, I, A, M, A, I, M, P, I, P, I, P, which is the next bass note. And so the trouble area that everybody gets into with this piece is really in the middle of that measure where you have that rapid exchange between the A finger and the M finger. The those two fingers are linked by tendon, by a single tendon, which means that also there's a muscular linkage to those fingers. And so to exchange and to bring out the A finger, your ring finger, when the middle finger has come into the hand, is difficult. The difficulty varies depending on what kind of hand you have, and muscularly what your makeup is. Some people's tendons are a little bit more separated than others, that kind of all sort of stuff. But think about it. You make a fist and you try and straighten out the A finger. Nobody can straighten out that finger to the same amount of ability or strength as the pinky, the index finger, or the middle finger, which I won't do on camera here as things go on. So because of that weakness of the A finger, and the dependency that the A finger has in regards to being used with the M finger, I'm going to actually use this study to work on that specific concept. Now, let's give a little bit of background on this. I'm going to quickly airdrop something to my computer. This is the awesomeness of Apple. This is the reason why I'm in the Apple ecosystem, as the tech guys say on the YouTubes. All right, so we're going to airdrop this. Maybe? Might be. Watch, now it doesn't work, right? All right, we're not going to worry about that. But I have a PDF from a technique book that I used when I was in college, written by my former collegiate professor, Richard Provost, and he actually addresses this issue. And he has a specific methodology which addresses a complex arpeggio like this. And I kind of wanted to share the PDF of this that I had, but it's not airdropping. But so when I have the update video, I'll actually include that and sort of talk about that at length in at least the first update video. But there's a whole drawn out method that he has for this that I am going to incorporate into my practice. The short story of it is pretty much that we're going to use mental grouping. Oh, hi, Chili. He is having fun there. So we're using mental grouping to separate the psychological connection between those fingers, so that way tension doesn't get built up and we can fluidly move through the pattern. And there's a whole practice method which he has for it that I will share in due time. So enough with the talking. Let's do a little bit of playing and work on this, as you get to see me sight read through this. Again, I kind of am going through this with a little bit of knowledge ahead of time, so I'm not flying blind here. So the right hand pattern is going to be the same. It's always going to be P, I, P, I, P, M, I, A, M, A, I, M, P, I, P, I, P. And I'm actually going to stick with that. There are some people that will like alternate P, M, P, I, P, M, and sort of alternate that beginning. I kind of like the fact that I'm going to start when I do the arpeggio, P, I, P, I, P, M. As I'm doing that, and we'll see what happens as I might change that fingering, but right now what I like about that is that my M and A fingers stay relaxed for a good beat, and actually 2 beats as this arpeggio repeats itself. So I'm getting tripped up on that already, that exchange. But what I can feel is that because I have P-I, P-I both at the beginning, and just for the sake of identifying and outlining, we'll use blue for that. So I've got it at the beginning and at the end, and each one of those repeats itself. It really gives me a chance, it gives me 2 full beats to feel that these fingers are nice and relaxed, ready to activate when I need them. So that's pretty awesome. And I like that I like that feeling so far. Hasn't been worked on and integrated into the piece by any means, but again, part of it is that I'm going to actually stick with the right-hand fingering that's in here. So when I have a piece of music that is all arpeggio based, I will tend to go through it and block out the chords. So my first chord is going to be that E minor chord, and I'm actually going to use 3 and 4, and there's a reason for it. The next chord, I can then use the B, which is 3, can then move up to the C, and then my E with 4 will move up to F sharp. So it'll help me for a smooth transition, something like this. As I go through. So that's going to give me a smooth transition if I remember to finger down the next chord. So I've got this chord going to here, back to E minor, and now E minor I'm going to use 2 and 3. I'm going to use the open bass notes, or the open E to reset. And now second finger. So I've got this. B7 chord. Fourth finger there for the E minor chord. Now this is a part that a lot of people, hey Vicky, how's it going? This is a chord, a transition that a lot of people have difficulty in, which is extending that pinky out. Part of it you need to really use the muscles in the hand which allow you to open and close the hand. But then also I'm going to give a little bit of extra support for that finger by bringing in my elbow. So that way I'm just helping bring that pinky a little bit closer. So now from there, I got my A minor chord. As you can see, I already know before I'm going. Then I've got this diminished chord. So this. Right? So I've got this to this. And now I've got my B chord. Oh, it's not a B chord. It's an E minor chord with a B in the bass. And then finally. So that is, we're right here. I've got that B chord, the E over B. Followed by a suspension. Wow, I can't talk much. Suspension, and then dominant 7, and now this goes into a big long parallel diminished 7 chord that just goes down the neck of the guitar. So none of this is really, once you hit, let's bring up the markings. So once you hit this spot, from there until, I need to, there we go. So from there until, again, where we would be, to this point. It's all left-hand wise a shape that just moves down chromatically 1 fret at a time. Keeps going. And I think that there is a mistake in this, at least in this edition. The repeats here and there shouldn't be there because he actually, in this, he wrote out the repeat. That those two measures are the same. So he doesn't want 4 measures of this. He doesn't want that. And then finally we go to something different here. So now the right hand's going to change a little bit. So, and again in this section, this and those repeats don't belong either. So now I'm going to figure out a fingering for this section. So I know that this, that descending passage is all just going to be probably alternating I and M. I don't know which one I'm going to use just yet, but let's get this. Is that it? So he's got all that under the 7th position. And I'm taking some cues from him in that if he wants open strings, so let's zoom in on this. If he wants open strings, whoops, he's going to give us those 0 indicators, right? So he wants those E's open. Open E, but the B is not going to be open. It's going to be fretted. Maybe something like that. So let's get rid of those arrows. I know I'm going to go P-I, P-I, P-M-I-A. So let's just give myself, I'll write this in black. I-A. Oh, we'll do P-I-M. Even though the G is higher than the E, maybe something like that. Because it's cross-strung, it's just a P-I-M arpeggio. Probably A, I. So I'll use A on the B, I on the G, M, and then, and I could do, I could do I, P, I, M, A, M, I, maybe A on that top E, so that way I can at least set up the first descending string crossing, whoops, with a good string crossing, M. Yeah. I, M, I, M, I, M. And I'm kind of purposely using sheet music that I haven't studied from, because I'm also using this as a exercise in just me deciding on right hand fingerings. So you just saw me finger that passage. You know, so the idea is I want to, you know, I'm just going to be a little bit more self-reliant rather than look at fingerings that I had before. That kind of makes sense to me. As I go through. So slowly. So I'm going to do a quick little finger replacement at that point. That's going to be 4. I'm going to use 1, 2. So at that point, as we go. So that's that passage, and then it's back to the arpeggio, and then to this thing. Diminished. Then to here. Then to here. Just doing this. So now I got to figure out those harmonics. I think right hand or left hand passage wise for the N. Okay, so I've got to get used to reading Villa Lobos harmonics here. So this is, if I'm going, that's going to be on the 5th string. So this is 12. Oh, that's not right. So this is going to be 12, 7, 12, 5, 12, 5, and 5. So for those guitarists out there that are confused with what I just did, don't worry, I'm there too with you, confused. So Villa Lobos writes his harmonics odd. He writes the harmonics, diamond note heads are sort of a universal harmonic symbol. He doesn't use string numbers. He uses the letters of the strings, the G string, B string. And you can see there, and it's in a circle, and you can see there that I used 5. That's for the A string harmonic. So that's the first thing, which is very specific to him. The second thing about his harmonics is that he writes the note, if it were played on that string, what note it would be. Okay? Which is fine for harmonics that cut the octave, but not for harmonics that don't. So for instance, which is here. Everything else is all messed up. So the G harmonic's at the 12th fret. That E, that E one is weird because it would be a lower E, but I think that's what the harmonic is. I have to check and I'll watch some videos. Let me star that because I forget exactly how to play that one. But if I've done this right, we've got the harmonic there. Actually, no, that would be... No, because it would still be that one. So that's got to be that. I have to check that one. I'm confused on that one. But right now, the way that I have it, I've got 12th fret for the G on the G string, 7th fret on 7th fret on the A string, 12 on B, 12 on G, 12 on E, 12 on B, 5 on G, 12 on E, 5 on B, 5 on G, 5 on E. So now I'm going to figure out what right hand fingering I'm going to use for that. So now, if I'm going... So this is I, P, so that's going to still be A, I. Oh, so, oh no, undo that. It's going to be A, M, with the fingering down here. I, P, M, I, A, M, I, A, M, I, A. How's that for confusing? So we got this. The right harmonic slower. And then as we keep going, that chord, then whoa, that's not. And that's going to be a harmonic on the top. There we go. So we got these last two chords. Which creates a whole other issue. So there we go. So that's the fingering for the piece. Again, you know, feel free to ask questions. There's a whole bunch of you online. You know, hopefully some of you are guitarists and are interested in this. So to me, this piece is, you know, just will kind of wrap up at least the playing and sight reading-ish part of this. Just talking a little bit about what my approach is going to be with this piece. So the biggest thing that even as I was sight reading through this that I feel is that there are going to be passages of extended bars, right? starting here. So it's really about navigating that. That's why. So it's about navigating like those 5 measures, which actually will be 10 measures. You know, just this to here as I go through. That's going to be very tiring on the left hand. Looking forward, again, this whole thing is just a gigantic thing going down. So that's like a page and a half of notes already. That's pretty straightforward. This thing. So the difficulty there is going to be navigating that. And then we have more bars. Change that fingering so I can practice making sure I know that I'm going to 2 and 1, 2 and 1 there, so that way when I'm here, that whole thing, then to that. So there's really 3 sections of this piece that I'll be working in, and I see that in the first section it's going to really be about the bars, keeping those bars from me squeezing the neck of the guitar. So really what it will be is I'll probably work on this really with that kind of stuff in mind. So now, well, let's do something a little fun. Why not? So I would say that my goal tempo, let's see what my goal tempo should be on this. We'll do that based off of, well, how fast I can play it. Let's start at 100. So as I'm going through, I'm just going to mark out transitions that I want to be aware of. I'll mark those out in red. So right there, that transition. This is good. That's going to be another one, right? Of a tricky transition. Feel myself getting tight here in the left hand. And I still have 2 measures to go. So that's going to be one, that transition to the B7 chord. Right to here. That should be fine. Let's move ourselves from this. Here we go, top of the page. And we're still going. feel my stamina going within this. And just, you know, also talking while doing this, which I'm bad at. But even here, my left hand is getting tired. Right, and then that thing. So that got messed up. So that transition there. Let's get that going. Right, so that transition. Whoops! Lost my pen. Oh, let me get that pen. Oy. Oops. Then the transition into here. To this. So that's at about 100. And again, like I said, my goal with these isn't necessarily for, you know, concert speed or anything like that. But let's just see what happens. I'm not going to do the whole piece again. At 100, it needs work. But let's just bump up the metronome a little bit. So this is 110. So that's working pretty good. There's lots of left-hand stuff that's causing issues, not necessarily right-hand issues. So what I'm looking for is when the arpeggio breaks down. And I'm doing that in passages that are really simple for me to play because that's going to tell me where my peak speed is. And obviously there's an endurance part of this too. So that was 120, kind of getting there. Here's 130. So right there. So right in the 130s is going to be, that's going to be my ultimate goal. I can feel that that's where the pattern breaks down for me. I lose it at 130. So 130 is going to be my speed goal, and I'll probably spend 10 minutes drilling out this right hand pattern a day, just on open strings and things like that, to work out the right hand open strings, and obviously with patterns, you know, to work out. Right. And really work out the mechanics of that pattern at the fast speed. And then I'll spend 20 minutes a day working out the piece, you know, just building up the peaks and building up, you know, being able to get through. And there's a handful of different areas that I marked where it's like, yeah, okay, those transitions are going to be difficult. Those transitions, really, it's the smoothness of them, right? So as I'm getting from this, I've got to move from this chord That's actually a pretty good practice idea, doing two groups of notes. Getting to that. Um, so I've never thought of practicing it that way, but it makes sense because I need to have at least those fingers down, and they go moving that um, in that motion. Every sort of two notes is what you're really thinking. So something like this. It'll be. So we have this, this, and so I'm going to jump that to there. So there's a lot of awkward movements that have to be worked out and everything. So 130, like I said, is going to be my speed goal, and I'm going to work at this. I'll probably start at around 100. That's what I can kind of play through with very little issue. And then from there, I might be bumping up the speed depending on how the arpeggio feels for me as it goes through. So, yeah. Let's see if there are any questions, anything anybody wants to chat about um, as we go through this. And if not, then we'll say goodnight, and there will be an update video next Saturday. This will be the only study that will only have one update video in between live streams, and that's mainly because of the fact that I didn't live stream last week. So, yeah, if anybody's got any questions about what they saw or what I was going over, feel free to ask now. Um, if not, we'll end the live stream in a few minutes. So, yeah, just giving everybody a chance to ask their questions. Yeah. So, all right. Fair enough. Okay. So, without further ado, next week you'll find on my YouTube channel, you'll have um, there will be a video which will highlight my progress on this piece. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do so. Um, and I am in the process of ultimately not reworking my YouTube channel, but getting back into the groove of posting regularly. So there will be new videos, hopefully at the start of, by February, I'll be back into the groove of filming and editing and releasing. But my hope is that Sundays will be a Suzuki piece, and those are really for my Suzuki students. It'll be a practice video for them. Tuesdays, there's an internet. Um, oh, hey Jay. Hey, thanks for checking it out, Frank. I appreciate it. Hey Jay, yeah, new guitar, sounds awesome so far. And this is only going through the microphone of my Logitech webcam, believe it or not. So no special fancy microphones or anything, just a webcam microphone. I've been really, really happy with this webcam mic and shoddy nails for tonight's live stream. I need to do my nails. It's definitely classical guitar first world problems, as it were. This guitar has been great for me since I got it back in, I guess August 2017. Been serving me well. So, like I said, Sundays will be a Suzuki repertoire video, a practice video for my students. There's a forum, the Del Camp forum, that I frequent, and there is a thread right now where people are learning all of a set of source studies. So this is Opus 31 of source, and they're doing just sort of learning collectively together. And I figured I would jump in and do it as well. I actually filmed and recorded the first study from that group, Opus 31 number 1, and I actually have that sheet music available on my website. If you're interested in checking out my edition of that, I do editions of classical guitar rep. So for the next handful of weeks, that's 24 studies, but I'll be spending probably a week or so on those studies. Again, you can see me work on those pieces via my Twitch stream, uh, twitch.tv/guitar shredder. That's my Twitch website. I'll make sure. Well, if you follow me on Facebook or on Instagram, you'll see when I post that stuff. Let's see what else. So that's Tuesday, and then what else do I have? I have this written down somewhere to keep track of stuff. Um, and then Friday, so I'm starting a website as well, a classical guitar website for online lessons and stuff like that. There will be free content as well as some paid content. That's ultimately where I'm going to have my editions of things. So I have an edition of the first cello suite. I have an edition of like a source sonata. So I'm going to have like professional editions and student editions and things like that, as well as video lessons and all that kind of stuff that I'm starting to get into. But Friday will be sort of a uh, vlog slash discussion video on classical guitar technique. Um, Short videos, nothing overly long. Certainly, if you got ideas, certainly let me know in the comments or in the chat. I'm always looking for ideas to cover. I have sort of the first few videos planned, but from there, feel free to comment or reach out to me and ask me to cover certain things as well. And then Saturday will be the release of my of the Villa Lobos. I call it, I guess, the Villa Lobos project. Who knows what I'm going to call this? Um, so that's sort of the initial basis of what I'll be releasing on my YouTube channel. I have other things planned too, as some of you probably know. I happen to dabble in other styles and things like that. And if you're subscribed to my channel, you'll see videos of some of that stuff. That stuff will start to make its way once I get the regular schedule of these 4 videos sort of going and happening at a regular pacing. So once that happens, other things will start to come in as well. So yeah, that's it for the evening. Thanks again, guys, for watching. Like I said, starting tomorrow, hopefully tomorrow, knock on wood, I'm going to start live streaming. So be on the lookout. I'll have some kind of material and things going out about when I stream and all that kind of stuff. But pretty much 6 in the morning to 8:30 in the morning is my first bulk of practice, and that'll be on Twitch. It's not going to be on YouTube. The only YouTube live streams that I'm going to do are for the Villa Lobos Etudes specifically, twice a month. So those two. So 6 to 8:30 will be my first block of practice, and then on Sundays that's all that I do, because Sundays is filming day. Monday through Thursday, in addition to the 6 to 8:30, I do 9 to 12:30. Friday will also be 6 to 8:30, and at least for next week, I should be doing at 9 to 12:30 as well. And then Saturday again 6 to 8:30, and then in the evening, I think it's like 4:30 to 7:30 or something that I have for my streaming, my practice. So whenever I'm up on Twitch, you'll see me put out a notification of it until people start to realize that it's an ongoing, regular thing. And forgive me as things as things start happening. I'll try and be as forward thinking as possible. Like, for instance, this week I'm going to be out of town Monday night through Wednesday morning, so my Tuesday and Wednesday live streams won't happen. But Thursday will happen, and that kind of. So that interruption when I go out on concert and things like that will happen with less frequent with less frequency rather. However, I might bring my setup and do a live stream from Jersey, which is where I'll be in the beginning of the week. So anyway, I've rambled a whole lot. If you made it to the end, thanks a whole bunch. Greatly appreciate it. Your support means the world to me. It's awesome to know that I'm doing this not just in front of like nobody. Feel free again as I keep doing this. The chats are awesome. It's nice to hang out. Always ask questions, all that kind of stuff. So without further ado, we'll end the live stream here. And have a good night, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. So, check out my Twitch channel again. I'll write it in the comments as well. It's twitch.tv/Guitar Shredder. That's the Twitch handle. And you can follow me on Twitch as well, and you'll get updates as to when I go live and all of that kind of good stuff. So, without further ado, have a good evening, everybody. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.